Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Friday edition, another Friday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show. You know, if it's Friday, that means the show is set up in our mobile studio inside BRIX down in Jacksonville Beach. We love coming down here. You know by now, but if you don't, let me remind you, every Friday it is a standing special at BRIX. $12.99 ribeye special. 2 sides are included in that. You can't beat that deal anywhere. I tell people all the time, literally, people ask me about the steak special here all the time when I'm out and about, and I tell people all the time, hey, tell you one thing, go to your local grocery store, go to the meat aisle, check out the price of steak, and you tell me $12.99 with 2 sides is not the best deal in town. Get down to Jack's Beach soon, and to Friday, it is a double bonus. Hi, everybody. Terry Norvelle sitting right here. Zach Rothrock producing. We'll catch up with, I believe, Patrick Young soon, and Brent Beard will join us in the second hour, as we still have a ton of college football to cover. We will relive and review Georgia's disappointing into their season. Georgia, it's a shame it came to an end like that. Georgia competed at times, but boy, it felt like they were pushing the rock up the mountain the entire game. Notre Dame played physical, played fast. Notre Dame, I thought, thoroughly, staff against staff, I thought Notre Dame totally outcoached Georgia. If you feel like you've got a comment on that, yay or nay, feel free to drop us a text here on any of the platforms that you are enjoying the show. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But man, I thought Kirby and his staff got really, really outcoached. I love Notre Dame's game plan. Their quarterback draw was interesting. Their understanding that if you ran the ball, you might have to bounce it outside wide against Georgia. Notre Dame did that a lot. We know the special teams play that they put in. I thought Georgia handled that 11 off punt team run off, offense run on for Notre Dame. I thought Georgia handled that well. They just couldn't hold their water, and they jumped, and that ended up probably, as you watched the game yesterday, that ended up ending the game really for all practical purposes. We are going to relive that. Where does Georgia go now? Where does Alabama? Because they've been kind of paired together as the bullies of not only the SEC, but Georgia, Alabama have been kind of the bullies of college football, along with a program here and there over about the last 10 years. Where do those two programs go? I'm not saying, it's Chicken Little, the sky is falling down, but I think you can feel it. I don't care what colors you wear, what fan you are of what team, what program, in or out of the SEC. If you follow and you know college football, you could kind of feel it. It's an interesting dynamic right now, the feel, and I think what's going to happen down the road with regard to, I think the SEC is, to a degree, up for grabs. I think it's up for grabs. Now, that I am not in any way, shape, or form, please don't misquote me on this. I'm not saying at all that Alabama or Georgia will not win the SEC next year. They very well could. But, boy, you get the feeling now, and this happens to all quote-unquote dynasties. I mean, they don't last forever. It's harder when you're really, really good. It's harder to go up than it is to go down, obviously. We're going to talk about the dynamic, the SEC. And there's a sports dynamic I point out a lot. I call it bullies and barriers. When a sports bully is finally knocked down and or knocked out, boy, that has quick ramifications. When a barrier, if you think about sports, when a barrier is broken, the 4-minute mile, for the longest time, decades ago, your distance runners were chasing 4-minute mile. Is that humanly possible? The 4-minute mile, and it was chased and chased. There are good movies about this in the late 50s, or about when, I'm not sure when. I think it was Roger Bannister that totally finally broke the 4-minute mile. That was a huge milestone. Well, generally what happens when bullies get beat and knocked down, or barriers in sports get hurdled, that brings a lot of traffic with it. Once the 4-minute mile got broken, a bunch of people started breaking the 4-minute mile. When you see it happen, when you see Mike Tyson on that fateful night, the unbeatable machine that was Mike Tyson on that fateful night in Tokyo, when Buster Douglas did what nobody has done. He put him down, and he put him out, and he beat him. Well, that era of invincibility, when it goes away, it can be powerful, really powerful for people watching, because the individual competitors or the teams go, wait a minute. I've seen Alabama now lose a few games. They lost 4 of their last 9 games. They're not invincible anymore. Maybe this is South Carolina talking. Maybe it's Missouri talking. Maybe it's LSU talking. Same with Georgia. We've seen Georgia now lose a few games now and look beatable and not look like this tank just bulldozing. Well, teams are looking around now. Maybe it's South Carolina looking at Georgia. Maybe it's Florida looking at Georgia. SEC teams looking at Georgia now going, if they can get beat by them, we can do that. If Alabama can lose to Vanderbilt, well, hell, we can beat Alabama. We'll get back into that. I've kind of messed around. And, Zach, let me know if we have Patrick popping on. I don't want to disregard him if he jumps on here in the next several minutes. I've messed around. I didn't do the entire SEC, all 16, but I was messing around with what might be the August preseason SEC football standings as voted on media. Those will all start coming out, obviously, in July and August. It's interesting. The power poll that I put together, and a lot of people, when they're doing these preseason polls, the first thing is they look to see if there's good quarterback play coming back or not, things like that. It was a chore to put this thing together. Where does Alabama land? I think Georgia's going to be 1 or 2. And anyway, I want to get to that here in a moment. Let me go ahead and set up the rest of the show. We want to talk a lot about Black Monday. We are only, a few days away from NFL Black Monday. There will be a number of coaches that will get fired on Monday. It's called Black Monday for a reason. Coaches get fired on that day. I've got a list of coaches that the word is a pretty good laundry list of coaches that will get interviewed by these different organizations, including Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville will be in the market for a head coach. We're going to talk a lot about that. Some of the names out there, some of them are just, oh my God, really? Is this guy getting another interview? Is that guy getting another interview? You know, the NFL, when it comes to hiring coaches, can be very, very repetitive. I want to get into that today. We're going to, at some point today also, and hopefully with Patrick Young, want to look into the big basketball game tomorrow. College basketball really kicks off tomorrow. I know there have been games, there have been some good matchups since early November. But really, most people, you know how the NBA is considered, that season is considered really starting at Christmas Day. You can kind of say the same thing about college basketball with this first Saturday after New Year's. Tomorrow, just about all your conferences will get started. A few will play today, I think, but conference action starts tomorrow. We're going to break down Florida, Kentucky. What a nice opener for the Gators and the Wildcats. 2 really big games in the nation are both coming tomorrow out of the SEC. Florida, Kentucky, that is Florida ranked 5th or 6th, depending on the poll, and Kentucky ranked 10th or 11th. So you got basically a top 10 matchup tomorrow in Lexington. Florida goes to Kentucky tomorrow. And then later after that ball game, Tennessee, the number 1 team in the nation in men's basketball, Tennessee, they will take on Oklahoma, who is a top 20 program, part of this deep SEC basketball conference. By the way, mark it down. Don't let this could easily jump up on you. Florida, Kentucky basketball tomorrow from Lexington. That's an 11 a.m. tip. 11 a.m. tip. Make sure you remember that, because that would be miserable to get stirring around, running some errands tomorrow, messing around, picking up your dry cleaning, going to the gym, getting your hair cut, whatever. That would be miserable to look up at 2 and say, okay, let me get in front of this TV. They just played at 11. 11 a.m. tip for Florida and Kentucky. That will lead into a 1 o'clock tip with Tennessee taking on Oklahoma. That is all happening because ESPN is broadcasting those two basketball games tomorrow, and they also have the 4:30 NFL game and then the second game to follow. So ESPN, to squeeze everything in on their big channel, they are tipping off Florida, Kentucky, 11 a.m. And yes, for you folks out there watching, wondering, Lexington is in the Eastern time zone. That is not a 10 a.m. tip in Lexington. It is an 11 a.m. tip, but that's early. That's early for a good basketball game. We're going to break that down as we go as well. So a lot on the plate. Zachary Rothrock, are you there?
I am. What's up?
Rothrock, are you there?
Yeah.
We started messing with this yesterday, assuming that Georgia was going to go ahead and get beat, and they did. Mm-hmm. And Alabama has already obviously lost their game a couple days ago. So there's one SEC football program still playing, Texas, obviously.
Yeah.
Zach, I took my time, and this is hard to do, man. And I mean, I put just a rough top 10 power poll going into next SEC football season. And subject to change, the portal. This was hard, Zach. And I only went 10. I didn't do all 16, okay? I'm going to rattle through mine, give you kind of some reasoning. And I'm not going to ask you to do 10, but just comment if things stand out to you. This was hard. Here we go. I would say right now, and the portal's going to change things, spring practice and transfers and blah, blah, blah. Number 1, Texas.
Sure.
And I have an asterisk by teams I think are okay with their quarterback position, even though I think Ewers is gone. Arch Manning has played enough. He's been around enough. I think Texas will be fine at quarterback.
Yeah, I feel comfortable saying that, sure.
I've got Texas 1, Georgia 2, and I don't have a full asterisk at quarterback. We've seen I thought Gunnar Stockton yesterday played winning football, by the way. He didn't lose that game for Georgia. Lines of scrimmage probably lost that game. I've got Georgia 2. I still think I don't think they're anywhere near as talented as Georgia 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So Texas 1, Georgia 2. I think Stockton will be okay at quarterback once he gets a little more experience. I've got LSU at 3. I think it's a big deal that Garrett Nussmeier, who has played a ton of football, I mean, and LSU's got ball players. LSU's always got athletes. I've got LSU at 3. Tennessee at 4. They bring back Nico. I've got to see some improvement. I didn't think Nico got better as the season went on. I don't know your thoughts on Nico at Tennessee.
Yeah, I like putting LSU above Tennessee. I would even put Ole Miss above Tennessee. I just don't really necessarily. I mean, it really is because I don't buy into Nico. But now I understand that Ole Miss is Jackson Dart's not coming back, so they got to figure that out.
Issues.
Yeah.
So far, Texas. This is just Terry's quickie top 10 football power poll. How it may come out, and so I've given you 4 names, and Alabama's not one of them. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree so far. I mean, there's no reason.
So I've got Texas, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee. I've got Alabama 5. They've got some work to do now. Alabama's got to rebuild their offensive line. They've got to either go find a portal quarterback or hope Ty Simpson on campus or somebody on campus can be the guy. I still think they got some talent. Alabama's losing a lot on their defense too, I think. I've got Alabama.
I could potentially be overreacting, but I mean, I think that I would have Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Florida, South Carolina all above Alabama.
I love it.
I think I might, but again, I think I might potentially be overreacting to the.
I didn't have the stones,
losses.
but hey, I didn't have the stones to do that. But you could make that legitimate argument. But I've got Texas, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Alabama 5. I've got Florida 6, South Carolina 7, and that could easily flip-flop, almost a coin toss. They're kind of the same program, right? They kind of came out of nowhere, according to the experts. They had feel-good seasons, and they feel like they've got a lot coming back to build on. I think both programs. So that's 6 and 7. I've got Ole Miss at 8, and I'm like, I don't know why. You know, they got to replace their quarterback. That may be low, but
this
was hard.
I kind of view Ole Miss almost with Lane Kiffin almost kind of like as a machine, and so just because they're losing Jackson Dart, I think they're just going to find another one.
I
Yeah,
could buy that. He's good at what he does, Lane Kiffin, with that position. He is good
Mm.
with that position. So man, I've got Ole Miss low right now. I guess I've got them 8, but I didn't know where else to put them. Help! Ole Miss is behind Florida in my quickie poll. Florida beat them. Florida pushed them.
Yeah, when they
beat 'em.
needed to win to get in too.
Yes, I mean that was a massive game.
Mhm.
I think Florida's going to be better than they were last year. So I've got Ole Miss 8. I haven't even ranked A&M or Missouri. I've got A&M 9 and Missouri 10. Missouri's got quarterback issues to solve, and so does A&M. Zach, that was hard to do, man, and I only went 10 deep.
Yeah, yeah. So I like to do kind of like a tier system, so to speak.
Okay.
And so I would put, Texas and Georgia. That's your elite tier. And then
Okay.
you kind of have, I would put kind of Tennessee and LSU kind of in that just a step below tier.
Okay.
But then I think I would put Alabama no higher than that next step. I think I would lump Alabama with the Florida, with the South Carolina, with the Texas A&M. I would maybe put Missouri in there. I tend to kind of think Missouri's not up there, but I mean, I don't want to throw Missouri down there with the Kentuckys and Mississippi States either, though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I kind of look. So I think that Alabama is without question not in the elite tier. It's just kind of a question of can they get up there with Tennessee, or are they down there with the other guys?
It'll be interesting to hear in the second hour. We'll have Brent Beard on here on Friday, as we do almost every Friday. It'll be interesting to hear his thoughts. And do you buy into the again? I'm not saying Georgia and Alabama, Chicken Little, the sky is falling down, but I mean I think it's very, very. Even though it's in the air, you can feel that Alabama and Georgia have come back to the pack. It feels like the SEC is up for the grabs. It could still be Georgia. It could still be Alabama. I think the other spinoff, Zach, that's going to be fun, it's going to be fun if it's not Georgia, Alabama over the next couple of years. If somebody else claims what has been Georgia's and Alabama's for the longest time, will it be one or two new dominant programs, or will it be almost a revolving door of multiple, Tennessee this year, LSU next year, Florida the next year? It'll be interesting to see if a new twosome rears its head, or will it rotate?
I think it's going to tend to be a rotation, and Patrick is with us now.
Yeah, we got Patrick Young, and Pat, you've heard what we've talked about. Hell, I haven't even mentioned Vanderbilt's going to have more talking this offseason. Are they real? Can they follow it up? And I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. Vanderbilt didn't make my top 10, though. In the SEC.
They didn't make your top 10?
In the SEC, no.
Where you got them at?
I did the power poll SEC looking into next year. I did it 1 through 10. I didn't do the all the way. Hey, Pat,
who's number 10?
Say that again.
Who's number 10?
Missouri. This was hard to do, man.
Yeah, it is hard.
Hard to do.
It's too hard. It's so hard, and it's too early to do it. Just
Pat,
because the roster's not completed. And
I said that this is subject to change. There's portal stuff. There's this. There's that. Do you feel I don't want to say changing of the guard, but man, the SEC football league feels like a bunch a bunch of programs.
Aren't you glad it's like this though?
A bunch of programs are back in what it feels like the mix. At least 5, 6, 7 are in the mix now, whereas it has been a stranglehold with Alabama and Georgia. I think they've clearly come back to the pack, and the pack has gotten better. The pack has gotten better, I think. Patrick? Are we on?
I think Patrick's right.
Yeah.
He'll probably rejoin in a second. Yeah, the packet. Well, and so for I was thinking about what you said earlier. Oftentimes, back when Alabama was dominating and Georgia for their shorter run was dominating, a lot of times the games would be close at halftime. And then when you got into the second half, Alabama starts rotating those defensive linemen in and getting the fresh running backs in, and they could just wear a team down. Yeah. Now, obviously, with the NIL, the transfer portal, they don't have the depth and they lack that, and so everything is just more even across the board. Yeah. And you're going to have that.
And you guys follow SEC football as much as I do, Patrick, you and Zach and Brent when come on.
Weird.
That last decade that we just went through, and I call it a decade with Georgia and Alabama being the kingpins of the conference. There, when you're really good, you have that air about you, and the opponent, I don't want to say fear, but there's doubt that we can beat those guys somewhere in the mind. I feel
like the word reverence is too much.
That's a pretty good word, though.
It's a good word, but that's a little too much because, I'm like, these are football players. These guys are going to still come out and, work their butts off and try to win games and not like let fear slowly. But isn't it just so crazy, like straight up when it is about football and none of the officials and all this and that, and you say, man, those guys are just bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
Like there's that's not the SEC. Or like, wow, those guys really recruited well in building their team. Yeah.
Be interesting to see also with regard to Georgia and Kirby Smart. Kirby has been there now 9 years. I think he just wrapped up his 9th year. And his first year when he took over from Rick, they had talent, but they were not the juggernaut. Kirby got there immediately, and he turned some athletes, brought some athletes to Athens. By year 2, Georgia was a juggernaut. So Kirby, it's going to be interesting to see Kirby Smart and his staff knocking heads with the rest of the SEC without a discernible, massive talent advantage. I think the day of having that huge talent advantage is over. And it's going to be interesting to see Kirby coach without a massive talent advantage.
No, I mean, I love that aspect where the playing fields are more equal, but you just hate that a lot of the incentive on getting the talent isn't based off your coaching or like that's going to be a little bit of it, of course. Yeah. But now it's about money. It's all about money. Yeah. It's not just like, oh man, I'm coming from a mid-major. I'm getting recruited by all these SEC schools. Which one's the best fit? That might be an okay fit, but hey, they're paying me $500,000. I got to go take that.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Saying how hard it is to pick the top 10 power poll for next year for SEC and college football in general, 2 things jump to mind. The parity, I think, is great for college football. That's what makes the NFL, the parity. And the parity has popped up because of the portal. The portal has made this parity in college athletics. I mean, the portal. Notre Dame doesn't win that game yesterday without the portal. They went over all the guys they brought in. Arizona State, they don't get near a playoff record without the portal. They were 3-9. The portal got air. I mean, the portal.
How much does that hurt for Jaden Rashada
Yes. Oh,
guys, that kid's got to get some better people around him, man.
Yeah. You wonder.
He got some time at Arizona State. They went 3-9, and now he's back in there in Georgia. It's not even the backup.
Yeah.
And that Georgia gets knocked out. Arizona State plays what's next?
Yeah. What is the next move for him? Certainly Gunnar Stockton gets first crack at that thing. Speaking of, and I know we're going to our first break here in a moment. Speaking of, file this one, Patrick, under, you know what? You can never have too many good players. Remember, for years, Georgia's quarterback room had 2 and 3 5-stars in there. They would have 2 and 3 5-star quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And it was that way 2 years ago. They had Beck, who was a 4.5-star. They had Brock Vandergriff, huge recruit. They had Gunnar Stockton. Well, don't look now. Remember Vandergriff?
Yeah.
He left Georgia, went to Kentucky. Well, guess what? He played all year for Kentucky. He just retired from football.
I don't know. Oh, wow.
I don't know what the reasoning was, but hey, you can never have too many. He didn't have a good year. You can never have too many players. Yeah, Brock Vandergriff announced he's retiring.
Retired.
Yeah, I don't know if it's injury or just he doesn't have the love anymore.
Yeah, that could be it, man. I mean, the competition. I don't say the competition got to him, but
you remember how big a recruit he was? He was huge.
Yeah. Gosh, I didn't realize wow.
Yeah.
And I know you guys talked about it yesterday. Oh gosh, what was it? Wasn't on the game. I didn't want to bring it up. Gosh.
All right, if you think about it, get back with us. Let's take our first break, Pat. Let's take our first break. You know we're going to talk a lot more college football in the second hour with Brent Beard. When we come back, Patrick, tomorrow, Kentucky, Florida, Lexington, Kentucky. You've been there. I call it Corrupt Arena. Some people call it Rupp Arena. I call it Corrupt Arena. Patrick.
Could you imagine if I said something like that?
Yeah.
Back when I was playing them, like,
wouldn't that be great?
They were like, how do you feel about going to Rupp Arena? Oh, you mean Corrupt Arena?
Corrupt Arena. I've called it that for years. Some of the worst calls against visiting teams in the history of sports happen in that arena and will probably happen tomorrow. Patrick, you may have had some calls against you and your team when you played all those years in Corrupt Arena. We'll break that game down. I can't wait for that game tomorrow. 11 a.m. tip, Pat. You ready? 11 a.m.
Yeah, I'll be up. I
can't wait for that ball game. Yeah. And then there's another good one, Tennessee, Oklahoma after that. Let's take a break, come back, talk a little college basketball, and then we'll kick it off with Brent Beard in the second hour. A lot to cover. And closing in on Black Monday in the NFL, we've got a list of a bunch of retread coaches that are going to get interviews. Where will the Jaguars go? Where will Shad Khan go if he needs to go? And I think some coaches need to go. That and a whole lot more. The Young and Norvelle Show continues on a Friday from BRIX, Jack's Beach.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. BRIX Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at BRIX Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at BRIX Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, so college basketball talk here. Then that'll lead us into some NFL coaching rumors talk as Black Monday's coming up, and we'll throw the Jaguars in there. Second hour back to college football. Brent Beard should join us. Right now we're joined, of course, by Patrick Young right here on the Young and Norvelle Show. I'm set up at BRIX, Jax Beach. Patrick, 11 a.m. Tip tomorrow. The first big game in the SEC, what will be a bunch of big games all season long. Florida goes to Kentucky. Let's break this down a little bit. 11 a.m. tip in Lexington. Number one, I like the 11 a.m. tip for Florida. I'm glad it's not a night tip. That's a slight advantage. That Pat, you played in front of that crowd a bunch. Is that a little bit of an advantage playing at 11 instead of 7, and they've been ready to go, or does it matter?
It's going to be sold out in Rupp Arena.
No matter what, yeah.
It's going to be sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those people are nuts, bro. What do you mean?
How tough is that crowd?
They're unbelievable. They have the student section behind one of the baskets, which is it's an okay place.
Yeah.
So that the students aren't it's just the whole place is just massive.
Boy, Florida brings in an experienced team though, man. And I know crazy things happen in Corrupt Arena, and the whistle goes against the opponent in Corrupt Arena a lot. I'm still glad they're not playing at 7. For some reason, I like, hey, get this thing going, tip it off, go get a win.
It just sucks, when your team loses and you're in studio and you got to watch early and you got to watch it over and over and over and over.
I'm going to throw this out as we break this game down, Patrick. Here's one thing I think is a tangible advantage for Florida. I think the pressure tomorrow will be on Kentucky. Two things make me say that. A, it's a Kentucky home game. And B, if Kentucky doesn't win tomorrow over Florida, they don't have a chance to go get it back. They don't play Florida the rest of the way. There's not a return game.
Yeah.
So Kentucky being at home, they need to – I think there's more pressure on Kentucky. Is that anything there at all?
I mean, I think not more pressure or anything, but, you're not going to – count, when you're the committee losing on the road to a top, 25 team against the team, you'll count it against the home team going forward if they don't take care of business. And, the quad 1 opportunities that you get at home are the best ones. And those quad 1 and quad 2 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you're playing at home against a top 50 team, I think that's a quad 1.
I think that is, yeah. I think you're right.
Could be top 25. I can't. And then on the road, it's different. If you're on the road playing against a top team within the top, it might be the 50 or 100. It's something where you have more grace.
Yes.
If you get a big time win on the road versus if you lose at home.
I'm not sure a lot of Gator Nation knows this though, because of the new teams that came into the conference, and there's been a reconfiguration. Florida does not play Kentucky twice in the regular season like they have for 1,000 years. They play them once.
Yeah.
They only play them tomorrow in Lexington in the regular season. By the way, Florida got a bad draw, I think, in the schedule. That's the same thing that happens with Alabama, and that's the same thing that happens with Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida got a tough schedule, but Gators tomorrow. Patrick, you've played against Kentucky a bunch of times when you were at Florida. You followed SEC basketball. Am I right or wrong on this?
Wrong.
I've seen Kentucky for years. Obviously, you know me. I'm an SEC guy. I've been to 1 million Florida Kentucky games in Gainesville. Seen that. Probably watched everyone on TV the last 30 years easily. Patrick, this year's Florida team and roster reminds me of some of those classic Kentucky teams where they had multiple bigs in the front court, and they had multiple guys you could trust in the back. Florida's team reminds me of those long, athletic, deep classic Kentucky teams of years gone by.
Yeah, and if you look back at the championship team, the only one that Coach Cal had, that Florida doesn't have anyone comparable to Anthony Davis.
Sure.
But if you look across the board, you got some veteran leadership, guys coming off the bench. Just like Darius Miller, he came off the bench that year, and he was a really good player. Shooting wise, who they have? I think with the bigs, it's by what's the word, by company, by all four of them. Like no one by committee. They're more. Yeah. It's more of a committee thing, I think. I'll say three. Sam Alexis doesn't play that much.
Yeah.
But by committee, they're not above the rim guys.
Yeah.
Like those athletic, freakish Kentucky teams were, but in terms of pace, that's there.
Yeah.
Kentucky played fast under Cal, and this Florida team played very fast as well.
They really did. I tell you, Florida, for at least the second year in a row, the Gators, if you look at the national stats for rebounding, Florida's crushing the boards again, crushing the offensive boards. Pat, how about this stat? And this could go a long way if it holds true. How about this stat I saw in the reading up on the game? This year's Florida team, get a load of this, and this makes the game so easy, I think. Patrick, this year's Florida basketball team has rebounded 41% of their missed shots.
Yeah, that's great.
It is. I mean, so you can shoot a terrible percentage, but you're getting more opportunity, right?
What
crazy.
41%. Where is that sit in the country?
Very, it might be one. Their rebounding stats are all near one in terms of percentage. But Patrick, that almost gives you, I mean, I get it. 41 is not 50, but it's close.
You're not going to get to 50. 41 is, yeah.
Patrick, what I'm saying is that almost gives you 2 shots per trip.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 shots.
You can say 1.5 shot per
1.5 shots
per possession.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not a turnover. Yeah.
Yeah. So Florida, you mentioned during the break, I think Kentucky's a pretty good basketball team. They got bombed. I hope last week they got bombed against Ohio State.
Yeah. Not lost. They
really did.
They got knocked down.
And Ohio State was not ranked, but it looks like Ohio State. I caught the last 5 minutes. They got a couple players back in their lineup. Ohio State, including Kentucky transfer Aaron Bradshaw, the 7-footer.
Yeah.
By way of Kentucky is now so don't be misled, I don't think, by that Ohio State bombing.
I think Michi Johnson must be hurt. I mean, he's not he doesn't have a role as big as he had in South Carolina, which I still don't understand why he left, but he's getting minutes and he's a big time transfer.
Yeah, definitely. Kentucky has a couple really nice wins this year. They beat Duke. And they've beaten Gonzaga. I mean, that's nice wins. Florida's got one pretty nice win, really neutral site that was really a road game. The win over Carolina. It's a Kentucky team, Pat. I don't know if they have a star yet on that team. They got 6 guys over 10 points though, so they a lot of guys score for Kentucky. I don't think anybody's going to fill it up like a Clayton or a Martin.
They got one kid. There's one kid. I wish I could remember his name. He shoots lights out, so they're going to have to really take care of him.
Yeah,
like he's one of those guys that the team will never be mad if he takes a shot.
They've got one of those
how could you ever get mad at if you believe this guy is Lee Humphrey?
Yeah,
I don't think they ever got mad at Lee Humphrey for taking a shot.
No, and Lee. He knew his game. He always took his shot, right? I mean, he wasn't driving to the basket. He wasn't doing runners. He was taking outside shots. Don't you think Florida is that way with Walter Clayton Jr.? I expect he's done it so long. I expect every time he shoots for the ball to go in.
I know, right?
I think it's going in every time he lets it go.
He's at such a great pace, man. He's
really
so mature.
He really does.
I got to chat with him a little bit after the Stetson game.
Okay.
And he's so locked in, man. He stays off of all the social media. He probably, if you look at his phone, he probably has one of those guys that just has all the messages and just doesn't respond.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. But no, man, they're so fun to watch, especially. And I wondered, with Elijah Martin, how were they able to get him to buy into deep? He just wants to win.
I know.
And he happens so well in there. Yep. Like he's not a liability on the defensive side whatsoever.
He's not, and he's not. Oh my God! When I touch it, I got to shoot it because Clayton's going to get all his shots. I haven't felt like Martin has hogged the ball at all. You know, I think he's blended in on the offensive end.
Absolutely.
Patrick, I don't have a way to back this up without a ton of research, and you know me, I'm too lazy. I got to believe, I think I'm safe in saying, this Florida team that will take the court tomorrow in Corrupt Arena, some people call it Rupp Arena, I think this might be the most experienced team that's going to opponent that's going to walk on that floor. This is a experienced Florida basketball team. These guys, they've played in all the big arenas, right? I mean, they've done it all.
Oh, yeah. I know Walt is he's probably so locked in, man, for this. He and Elijah, I'm sure they want this so badly, man. I hope that doesn't get in the way. And especially since they won there last year. Should have won both times, honestly. You know, Bradshaw got, I don't know how he had that great block in the three, but
yeah, that was last year, wasn't it?
That was last year.
So they split on each other's court.
Yep.
Right? They split on each other's
really
court.
I think they really handled Kentucky in that game, though.
They did.
It wasn't even
They really did. Pat, I don't want to take anything away from the Florida win over North Carolina. I think North Carolina is going to get better every game as the season goes on. That game, though, that was a weeknight game, right? I mean, Florida got some accolades, but I don't think a lot of people really saw that game. This is one tomorrow, as you said. If Florida gets that win tomorrow, you got to believe the basketball game day is going to highlight this game, right?
Oh, yeah.
They may even be in Lexington if they're on the road. They may even be in Lexington.
It's crazy, man. They didn't really they did game day when I was there, but because we had game day come a few times, they never how now they bring players out.
Yeah.
They didn't bring players out.
It's really evolved, hasn't it? It's really evolved.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do college basketball game day for a long time.
Right.
Game day football was probably 20 years old before they said, hey, maybe we can do that on Saturday morning around basketball too.
Don't you think it's now thinking about it, isn't it weird to go from our boy Pat McAfee being on game day every time to not having him there anymore? I know he's a football guy, but you think that's kind of dang, man, it's not the same. I love McAfee on
better.
I love McAfee on football, man. He's great.
Why don't you and Pat just do a little FaceTime among yourself then if you love him that much?
Love him so much I might kiss him when I meet him.
Oh man. Pat,
them Irish lips, Pat.
Hey, I can't wait for that game. I think boy, if Florida goes out and gets that win, don't forget now, Patrick. How about, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, Patrick Young, Florida, Kentucky tomorrow in Lexington. Tuesday night, if Tennessee wins tomorrow, Tennessee is going to roll into Gainesville, Florida, the number one team in the nation. Florida plays Tennessee Tuesday night.
Numero uno.
How about that for the Gators? Good.
Numero uno.
And what are they? Florida has never beat a number one team in Gainesville. We've got time to. We'll talk about that game on Monday.
You can't beat yourself.
Yeah.
Never got the opportunity.
Yeah. There you go. There you have it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Our final segment, hour number one, Pat. Let's take a look at some of these NFL openings and some.
Oh yeah. By the way, JU, your alma mater. Let's not forget that JU lost last night.
What? Bad?
No, they just turned the ball over a lot. It looked like Lipscomb came in. They were a little bit more of the aggressor. They had some better depth and size, but JU went down by as much as 12, cut it down to 4, and then Robert McCray gets a really, really bad call for his fifth foul, and he was really starting to get rolling. And at that point, he just doesn't have a Robin, man. There's no Robin.
All Batman, no Robin.
All Batman, no Robin.
All right, well, I'm gonna blame you. That loss on you, Patrick.
That's my first one. My first
couldn't deliver to win. Couldn't deliver to win. So, all right, let's take a break. We'll talk some NFL coaching vacancies. Black Monday is coming up. And there are a lot of names being kicked around. Some of them you might like, and some of them you may go, ugh, who's interviewing that guy? That and a whole lot more. Patrick Young, Terry Norvelle, and you on the other side. The Young and Norvelle Show returns from BRIX Jax Beach.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. BRIX Jax Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at BRIX Jax Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at BRIX Jax Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoldCityAC.com. And they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Hey, let's talk some NFL head coaching jobs and potential hires. Terry Norvelle, Patrick Young, here on a Friday. I'm live at BRIX Jax Beach, $12.99 steak special, standing Friday special, ribeye steak special, $12.99 includes 2 sides. Great deal. Patrick, Black Monday coming up on Monday, obviously, a few days away. I'm trying to think of some of the programs that are franchises that are already looking for a coach. Obviously, Bears, I think, fired their guy. Saints, Jets. The Giants, are the Raiders going to let Pierce go? Jaguars, are they going to be in the market? Does Dallas make a move? Does Mayo come back for the Patriots? We're missing a few probably. Patrick, some of the names just make your skin crawl that are going to get interviews. Rex Ryan is going to get interviewed.
I like Rex with television. I don't think I like him with coming back to coach.
He's ever been any good as a coach. Rex Ryan, Ron Rivera. I mean, who would rehire what? I would rather take a chance on a hotshot coordinator than these rinse.
Did you
wash, rinse, recycle?
He had one great year, and after that, he lost a lot of games. Terry,
man,
like they went to the Super Bowl, and that's really what's like. That is what has probably as Jaguar followers, fans, given us Doug Peterson so much leniency up to this point.
Maybe
having been a Super Bowl.
One of the things I hate about the NFL is the way they just wash, rinse, and recycle these coaches. Those guys, Mike Vrabel's going to get an interview. Does he deserve one more shot? Maybe. A couple of the hot new guys that have not been coaches anymore that you're hearing. Ben Johnson, coordinator over at Detroit, and D coordinator Aaron Glenn at Detroit. A couple of coordinators. Well, at least there's fresh blood there. Those guys are supposed to get some interviews. Cliff Kingsbury, word is he might get an interview. He kind of flopped as a head coach once, but he's getting some accolades for developing, Daniels in Washington. I think he's helping develop that quarterback in Washington. Brian Flores, Pete Carroll's name's back in the mix. Any of these guys do anything for you? And which one of these guys would up with the Jaguars?
It's hard for me. Look, Pete, like a lot of guys, these guys have coached before, and it's hard for me to, especially with being older, like a lot of these guys, not a lot, but some of them, they're probably on the brink of retirement.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm sure Rex.
Rex Ryan
would be pretty content. I thought Carroll walked away because he just wanted to do something different with this, and back at his alma mater, which is great. There's so much more important things in football. Like, it's hard for me to accept you unretiring and now that there's a lot of opportunities to hop back in when the game has changed, there's a big learning curve. Especially with a lot of these, your style back then, your evidence doesn't show that you did it well before.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Why not give I think newer coaches get a little bit more grace
here's a name
if they can go a little bit under 500 their first year. Like Gerard Mayo, his first year being 3 and whatever they are, and they're ready to get him up out of there right away.
Yeah, definitely. Here's a name that you have to dig a little bit to see his name getting mentioned, and I don't understand why. I would take a flyer on this guy, Joe Brady. Why don't we hear Joe Brady's name, the coordinator with the Bills, right? And he was the coordinator for the great LSU offense.
Well, didn't he get hired in the middle of last season for the Bills?
I don't recall. Joe Brady.
Yeah, because they had Ken Dorsey. Remember Ken Dorsey, the guy who threw the hissy fit in the coach's box.
In the coach's box.
Oh yeah, when they were playing Miami last year, he threw all of his papers and stuff. Ken Dorsey, the former Miami Hurricanes quarterback.
Stop playing.
Hold on, guys. So catch me up, Zach. Catch me up. Did they then bump him up, Joe Brady, from a position to the coordinator?
Oh man, that's.
I would
imagine so, since it was
the middle of the
season.
They fired him in the middle of the season. Oh, here it is.
No, Brady. I'm talking about, not Dorsey. Fire him. I'm saying they just bumped him. Was he the quarterback coach probably, and they bumped him up?
I think so. Yeah, because he was the Panthers offensive coordinator in 2021. So I think he was on the Bills staff, just not as the OC.
Why isn't he more talked about? Joe Brady. Hell, he helped create that great LSU offense.
Mm.
I mean, he's young, he's innovative. You would think. Why do we not hear? And he's already been a coordinator before.
Just as I typed in his name, there's a few articles where it mentioned him as a candidate for open head coaching jobs.
But
yeah, he's definitely not a guy that when when the networks talk about it, he's not like a lead name for sure.
I thought when he went to the NFL from LSU, I thought he was a 2-year head coach guy immediately. Right?
Well, he was the interim. He was the interim when they fired the OC and they took the tag off coming into this year.
Yeah, that makes sense. But didn't you guys, because that was in 19, wasn't it? When LSU won that title.
When they had like the greatest offense of all time. Well, I would imagine that when he was the Panthers offensive coordinator in 20 and 21, that potentially made him take a few steps back in the eyes of the people that make those decisions.
Wouldn't people realize that he didn't have anything to work with in Carolina? You know?
Yeah, they're probably realizing that now, which is why he's circling back and becoming a candidate.
Let me back it up.
And also, he's on that good old boy network that you mentioned.
That's
you know,
true. Yeah, that's true. But I'll back this up. 2019, that great LSU team, arguably as good as anybody that's ever played college football, arguably the best offense, as good an offense as anybody. That was 2019, if I remember right. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
So if the three of us were given my famous truth serum I always talk about, in 2019, the end of the 2019 football season, if we said, hey, guys, it'll be at least 5 years before he's going to the NFL as a coordinator. It'll be at least 5 years before he becomes a head coach. I would have said, no way. He'll be a head coach in 2 years.
Yeah.
And it'll be at least 5 years. It'll be at least 5 years that Joe Brady will be bumping around as a position coach coming out. I would have thought he'd have got a job as the head guy in 2, maybe 3 years. Guys, what say you?
In staying in college?
No. NFL. We knew he was leaving. He won a national title. He was red hot. He goes to the NFL. As hot as he was when he went into the NFL, young and innovative, I would have said this guy will be a head guy in no more than 3 years. Now it will be at least 5 years.
Yeah, I would have agreed with you, but that's what happens when you go to the Panthers. I mean,
that's true.
I mean, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are both having the career years. They were both on the Panthers roster together just last year. How mad
do you think he's got to be seeing that both of them now are like killing it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you go to these type of franchises that are, below the line, the average line. They're bad teams. That's what I mean. You run the risk of going backwards instead of progressing yourself forward. So he got off track.
Definitely. I'll tell you what. Let's Brent Beard. We're going to keep this going here. Brent may have to get off a little bit early, about 5:30. Normally stays a good 40 minutes or so. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Brent Beard on. Patrick, as we wrap it up, though, waiting on Brent to come on. The question is, I think Jacksonville will be looking for a football coach. The question is, did we just name the next Jaguar coach somewhere in that mix of names out there? The hottest guy out there.
Does Brady want to go, or does our guy Joe Brady want to go back to a bad situation after?
Yeah. And I was going to say, I don't think Jacksonville gets the pick of the litter. No. They never get the pick of the litter, so it'll be interesting. The hot guy, I think the one name that seems to be able to pick his job is that Ben Johnson from the Lions. I think he's the hottest guy out there, not a retread. As we welcome Brent Beard in, and we'll switch things back to college football. Brent, wow, college football season. Really, I mean, I know we got some bowl games going on now. We really got 1, 2, 3 games left. We've got the 2 semifinals and the championship game. Let's jump into yesterday's ball game. Georgia. I thought Gunnar Stockton played winning football. He wasn't the reason they lost. It's been a long time since a Georgia team has got beat that bad on the offensive line.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, greetings to both of you. Pat, I have a cat that's not in good health, and I'm praying for you and the dog.
Oh man,
and I get it.
He's doing better, but you can see he's just sleeping next to me. But all the signs point to major decline.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Well, I had a vet visit myself, and I understand that. This morning. But they did him some good. I mean, I won't go into all they did, but it was some of it was just maintenance stuff. I was glad to see, and they did some blood work and so forth. I'll tell you one thing. My wallet's a lot lighter when I leave that vet. I know both of you understand that.
No doubt, but you got to do it, man.
But there are children, and we have responsibility. Okay,
and you would do it for a family member,
Well, they are, and they're family members too. Now on to Georgia. A really difficult loss for them, but guys, and Terry alluded to this. They've got all kinds of problems, frankly. That they're 102 nationally in rushing yards per game. They were 21 and 23 and 19 and 22. They have the most drops from that receiver core. I know Mike Bobo gets a lot of criticism for
that was terrible all year. They just couldn't catch the football.
That's right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know they struggle with that. And look, the thing that really surprised me was how badly the offensive line has gotten. Notre Dame manhandled them at the line of scrimmage. Notre Dame, by the way, had as far as they had Georgia had like 62 yards of rushing offense.
Yeah.
And the Notre Dame didn't have much. They had 150.
Yeah.
But still, it was in Notre Dame didn't even have 300 yards total offense, and we're able to win the game.
No, Georgia's defense played winning football. Gunnar Stockton played winning football. That a bunch of it, there were the special teams plays, the turnovers. Those balance things out, of course. But that offensive line, and the offensive line getting beat that bad almost shell-shocked the entire Georgia team, I thought. You could almost see that the whole team was going, holy cow, nobody punches us like that.
No.
But really, two things won the game. The kick return and the fumble on 40-something seconds left going into the second half.
Late in the half.
Different game without – I don't say blunders. That's why I love the college game with their normal kickoff.
Yeah.
Normal punts and all that stuff.
Yeah, NFL needs to change that silly rule they've got.
Dude,
it looks dumb.
Give the special teams
they've missed
the biggest opportunity they can have to truly impact the game.
Brent Beard,
it's not all on the quarterback.
The Georgia receiving core, I'm not going to blame it all on one guy because they were equal opportunity drops all year. Man, they dropped a lot.
Equal opportunity droppers.
Yeah, but man, did I think for 2 years, I thought Dominic Lovett was going to come in and be their bell cow receiver.
Right.
Stuff with it. Man, he underperformed. And goodness gracious, Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, you weren't going to replace those guys. They didn't even put their foot in the shoe.
They didn't get close.
They didn't even put their foot in the shoe, really. It was something to see. I also thought across the board, Kirby and his staff got woefully outcoached in that game yesterday. Woefully outcoached.
Yeah.
Much more than just the special teams play, too. That the punt team running off and more than that, they got. I thought Notre Dame had a great plan with their quarterback draws, the called quarterback draws.
Yeah.
They obviously coach their running backs. If nothing's in the middle, bounce it outside. I thought Notre Dame's staff absolutely woodshedded Kirby and his staff.
Well, they won the game the way Georgia wins games, in that they basically they played in the phone booth is what they did. And they were able to control the clock, control the ball. And when you're able to do that, you're going to win. But this Georgia team, guys, they're just something internally wrong with this team.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to win it every year. I get that. I know Pat's been on some really good teams, but guys, something is going on there that we may not.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's something.
I don't want to say causation, Brett.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about primarily about Georgia multiple times before the season started.
The off the field problem,
field stuff. Yeah. Did that just finally get so heavy and weigh them down? Was there? We don't know. Was there finger pointing among the staff, the administration, the locker room?
Being a champion requires consistently fighting for inches. Everybody is consistently fighting for like what things they can do to get better that won't affect them negatively on the field of performance. And if that is not the way you're looking at things, I don't think you give yourself truly a chance to get that success. And it's hard. It's hard, especially with football.
I'm not saying this is the reason, but I'm going to harken back to something Coach Spurrier used to say a lot. And he would say, you know what, the modern game of college football has changed. He said he always thought modern college football, and this included his time at Florida, he said you've got about a 10 to 12 year shelf life of your message working, and you wonder before your message may get a little Charlie Brownish, Charlie Brown's teacher, want. You wonder has Kirby's message gotten a little stale, and that happens to a lot of programs.
Well, I'll say this: Nick Saban said, and he wasn't laughing about it either. He said after 10 years, these guys tune you out.
Yeah. You wonder, but let me qualify this by saying it would not surprise me at all if next year's SEC football champion is either Georgia or Alabama. Yeah, I want to get that on the board. I'm not saying Chicken Little, but it just feels something non-tangible, but in the air. It feels like for the first time in a decade or more, the SEC now in football legitimately could be up for grabs, and 6, 7, 8 programs think that they now can take the SEC trophy from the Georgia Alabama run. Brent, I feel that. Do you feel that?
Well, NILs has caused us to look at things a lot differently, and one of the
parity, I love it.
One of the things I've talked to people about this week is just that is what NIL has done is it's taken away the depth, and you could see that in Georgia last night. And Georgia that used to have kids stacked up like cordwood, that's not there anymore because a lot of that depth is going somewhere else. I'm not saying Georgia doesn't have enough players. I'm just saying that they don't have enough quality depth like they used to. Yeah. You guys, the other thing that's mystifying about Georgia, they are absolutely unable to score in the first half. They cannot, for whatever reason, they can't get to double digits in the first half.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fumbling.
Patrick, about Brent's depth and lack of depth, that begats parity. Lack of depth, I think, begats parity because the depth is going away, going to a new home, and frankly, it's spectacular for the player. Think about the old Georgia team. They might have a really good backup linebacker that in the old Georgia days, 4 or 5 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, that backup linebacker was a high recruit, but his first 2 years or even 3 years, he may only play 15, 16, 17 snaps.
Right.
Well, he's really good, but he's behind a really good player. Yeah. I don't blame him, and I think it's good for the game. He decides to go, wait a minute, I'm not going to play 15 snaps a game for 2 years. I'm going to go find a place and play 51 snaps a game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. Yeah. Patrick, no laughing. This is not a laughing
show.
Not,
man,
not a funny
you can see how my dog is sleeping. He's like barely on the edge of the bed, and my mom was afraid he was going to fall off and bust his head. And we kept pushing him to the middle, and he just keeps coming back over to the like,
you leave that dog alone.
If I'm not here, he would fall off because especially since he's really old.
You leave that dog alone. Brent, I want to switch.
You can't fall off my bed and hit his head.
I want to switch gears to a statement I made yesterday on our show. Patrick and I talked about it a lot, and it's a broken record, but you guys know my stance, and I think you guys agree with me and follow me. I think it's miserable that a group of 5 program gets handed a coveted spot in the play. I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible. After what happened the other night with Boise State, I hope people realize that wasn't just a one-off.
Yeah.
It's structured. Unless they change it, it's structured. The group of 5 will get a spot.
Yes.
With that said, Brent, here's what even makes it worse. And add to this, Brent, that Boise State team the other night, in terms of being a group of 5 program, and they had a great player.
Yeah.
Almost won the Heisman.
Yes.
Brent, I don't see it. Let's just say the next 2, 3, 4 years. I don't see any way, shape, or form that the group of 5 is going to produce a better team than that Boise State team.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
Okay. With that said, that Boise State team got rolled. They got rolled. So just Mr. Fan out there that says, well, we need to give the little guy a chance. Well, I want you to remember when you said that next year when Michigan might be playing Tulane or Memphis, and they're not going to be anywhere near as good as that Boise State team. And that team, Brent, couldn't compete from the group of 5.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you make of what I just said?
One small point to try to be on the devil's advocate, try to find something that we can look to cling to of allowing this to happen maybe this year and next year. Maybe we got to see it happen multiple times before we can really shut up that
angle.
Group of 5. Maybe we need to see it one more time and be another blowout to have a strong enough evidence to say, we're losing viewership or whatever.
What are we doing? Too many better teams are getting left home because we are handing a training wheel. Brent, talk about everything we just
in 25 we'll do the same thing. What we don't know in 26 is where this is going. Now, I had a chance. I was at the Ole Miss hotel a couple of days ago. Had a chance to sit down with a friend who works the Ole Miss network, and he is very connected to some of the powers to be in the SEC. And what he told me is what he thinks might happen in 26. Okay, this is going to be good and bad. Okay, I like the home games, but those may go away. Now follow me here. Yeah, and you're smart enough to see what's coming. Is they're going? He said, if the home games go away, there's going to have to be more bowl games come into play. And he said your city is going to be one of them.
Interesting.
So what that means, and again, I have mixed emotions about this.
And let me stop you, Brent, and I want you to get right back on it. When you say home games for our viewers, the 4 designated playoff home games.
Yeah.
You're saying this guy is saying those may be eliminated.
Yes.
And whoa, we got a big, beautiful stadium about to be built. And they'll need more sites.
Yes.
Pick it up from there. One of the kids.
In other words, they're gonna have, if that happens, I'm not saying it is, but if that happens, and the home games are going away, what that means is they've got to have sites to play games.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
In a state-of-the-art stadium here, and Pat, this is
Vegas, LA.
Yes. But see, you're going to have a situation to where more bowl games are going to have to be involved if they go in that direction, and Jacksonville would be prime to be able to get in that spot. So
if they added 4 locations, if this stadium is what we're told it's going to be, I can't see Jacksonville not getting one of those.
I agree with that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost understood because these mega stadiums, they don't build 10 of them at a time.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And when they build one or two, they are the mega stadium for the next several years. Well, they always get asked to host, right? Big games.
Yeah, right.
You know, I couldn't see. Well, that's potentially real big news. Brent, we're going to keep you. We're just going to stay through this break, take it to the bottom of the hour, and get you out of here, if that's okay.
Sure.
This is kind of bouncing around, but I think it's kind of
one quick one.
Go ahead.
What were you guys? And that's I remember now what I tried to bring back up, Terry.
Okay.
Todd McShay, in regards to Carson Beck, had some pretty harsh comments for Carson Beck making the decision to forego his another year in college and go to the NFL.
Brent, take your first stab at it. One of the words McShay used talking to a scout, he said a scout used the word foolish. Pick it up there, Brent.
Well, I mean, look, I was kind of puzzled with that too. I mean, there may be some point, if someone explained to me the other day, sometimes guys have just had enough college and they want to move on and do something else. So the reality of that is, though, okay, now look, this may be a question for Dr. Bates. Okay, if you get that kind of surgery, how long of a rehab do you have?
Yeah.
And if someone at that point, look, he's a local kid. He's a pretty good player. I hope he does well. But the harsh reality of this is, how long of a rehab is he going to have?
Yeah.
And is anyone, and in reality, is anyone going to take a flyer on him when they really have no idea what his future is going to be?
Right.
I'll take three things at that topic that you brought up, Pat, with regard to Beck announcing he's going to forego and go to the NFL. Number one, and I'll come back to it, I think he's backed into a corner. And I'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah.
I think Beck is backed into a corner and he knows it. Number two, Brent, I agree with your statement that sometimes guys are just colleged out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's two.
I agree with that.
And number three, some of the guys that are colleged out, I think at some point, and Beck may fall into this, I think Carson Beck, and I'm assuming the wing is going to get fixed, or the elbow is going to get fixed.
Right.
I think Carson Beck is as good as he's ever going to be, and why not just see if I've got enough to make it or not? I don't see he's got a big upper ceiling. Let me get back to the back in the corner. I think he's back into a corner here with the injury too. If Beck's camp said, you know what, we probably need to show we're healthy and play a little better football at the college level, well, I don't think he's necessarily wanted back in Athens with this Gunnar Stockton hotshot. Almost like Ewers and Manning at Texas. So I don't think he's wanted it in Athens. If he went back, he may lose his job straight up. If Beck transfers to another school, I think people are going to say, wow, he went to another school because he was worried he was going to get beat out. I think he's back into a corner, and why not just go ahead and go and see if he's got the chops to make a second or third string in the NFL.
There are two things with Beck. One would be the injury. The second one would be, guys, but both of you remember, he went through a real turnover-prone time.
Yeah.
About mid-season, where he was throwing 3 interceptions a game. Now, he got better in November with that, and it really was able to cut it down. But the NFL, they've got to see too, don't they?
Yeah.
Are you healthy? And B, are you making better decisions?
Yeah. Brent, are you we're bouncing around a little bit with Brent Beard. Patrick Young's here, of course. I'm set up live at BRIX, our Friday home, BRIX Jack's Beach. Alabama, very, very disappointing final 9. Bama went 5-4 in their last 9 games.
Yeah.
Disappointing way to finish up the season. Bama's got areas. Bama's got concerns. They got to rebuild that offensive line. They got to go find a quarterback now. We know Milroe officially has thrown his name. Brent, I've asked you this before, and nothing's happened in the portal. Do you think Alabama's got their quarterback next year on campus now, or are they going to jump into the portal and see if they can find a ready-made guy?
Well, whoever's on campus and the three of us would be more accurate than Jalen Milroe was this year. So that's your reality for that. I mean,
Are you surprised he's going?
They've got a hot shot freshman coming in from Texas, and they've got two other guys, Austin Mack, who's 6'6", coming from coming from Washington, and Ty Simpson is the backup. Look,
he's played a little bit.
Look, Milroe had to go, and they appreciate what he did. He beat Auburn twice, beat Georgia twice, beat LSU twice, won an SEC championship. But let's be honest, he was nowhere near an elite quarterback. He was horrible against Michigan, frankly, and they needed to have him going his way. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, he wants to be Anthony Richardson 2.0. He'll go to the combine.
Why?
He'll go. But well, that's funny. He'll go to the combine.
Sorry.
And he'll run fast. He'll jump high, and he'll smile his way through the interviews. So, and you know how these owners are. Somebody will take a flyer on him, thinking that on any given play he can run 80 yards.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Alabama's made staff changes today. I think they'll make some more.
Yeah.
But look, guys, and we remember Anthony Richardson at Florida, and now you've got DJ Lagway. At some point, you've got to get a guy who's accurate and can read defenses. I don't care what level of football you're at.
Isn't it so crazy that Lamar was so hated on and thought it was impossible?
Right.
And then you see the career he has now. Hasn't won Super Bowl yet, but killing himself. You got Anthony, guys that I guess we're getting way more hype and belief doing absolutely nothing in the league, compared to Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Jalen Daniels, he's been good.
Well, and listen, Jalen Hurts is the same guy. You remember Jalen Hurts came in the league, and they didn't think he could be accurate to save his life. But to his credit, like Lamar, to Pat's point, both those guys have made themselves into pretty good quarterbacks.
Brent, weird discussion yesterday around Ohio State and that incredible performance they put on in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Absolutely walking the dog on Oregon. I wonder, I thought preseason, I thought they were the best team in the country roster-wise.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was close. They never played up to their potential. Even when they weren't losing games, they never – something was missing with Ohio State for 11 games. And you say, well, Terry, what about the 12th game? That's Michigan. Brent, in a weird way, particularly if Ohio State wins the national title, and they're probably the favorite right now, them or Texas, and they play, obviously. If Ohio State wins the national title, I'm not so sure that the Michigan loss wasn't what shocked them. That was the paddles on the heart. In a weird way, will the Michigan game be the precursor that woke Ohio State up? Because that was a different team the last the other night. I mean, I think that would have been a pick'em game if the Kansas City Chiefs were playing in the Rose Bowl the other day. They've turned into a dominating team. There's no doubt about it. But a lot of people have said the same thing, and that's a really astute point. Is they were, and sometimes desperation creates opportunity. It really does, and it really motivates you, don't it, Pat? I think that's kind of what happened to them. Is they learned from that. See, they've got weapons. My Lord, this Jeremiah Smith is. If you're not throwing him the ball 15 or 20 times a game, you don't get it. It's unbelievable how good he is. Yeah, he is really something. I'll tell you another thing. Texas may have a chance to hang around because against that Ohio State team with that receiving core, they've got two or three guys behind Smith too. They're tall and long. You better have physical, tall, long defensive backs. I think Texas has got a little bit of that.
Yeah. Oh, they do.
They've got a little bit of that. Speaking of Texas, Ohio State, obviously one of those teams is going to win and play another game this season, right? Whoever wins. But you realize the loser of Texas, Ohio State will play that same team back to back.
That's right. Yes.
Texas, Ohio State open up the season next year in Columbus.
Yeah, that's
how weird is that?
Yeah, very weird.
And how about Texas? They play this year. They were at Ann Arbor. Next year they're at Columbus. In addition to the damn SEC schedule.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, Texas, I think next year, and we got plenty of time to do this. Texas might have that schedule that people say, "Oh my God." Texas goes to Columbus. They go to Athens. They go to Gainesville. They play Florida and Georgia both on the road because they play at home. They also obviously have, you know, the rest of their SEC schedule. Brent, is it good for college football? We will have a first-time national championship coach no matter what.
Yeah. I don't think it hurts by any means. I mean, the Blue Bloods are still going to be around, and as you said, they will refuel and be ready for next year. But this NIL has just caused a lot of different. The money's redistributed, the players are redistributed, and if people like, I don't want to say parity necessarily, but if you want to see some different teams, that's where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona State would have never sniffed the playoffs this year after back-to-back 3-9 season.
Correct.
It would have taken Dillingham 5 years of traditional way trying to build that roster.
Yeah, right.
He did in 2 years.
Yeah.
With the options that are available now. Brent, we'll get you out of here, but I want to obviously we're going to transition to a lot of college basketball talk tomorrow. 11 a.m. tip-off, early tip. Florida at Kentucky. The only time they play in the regular season. Top 10 matchup. Looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, you've got tremendous games tomorrow. Alabama plays Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa. I think Oklahoma's undefeated, right, Pat?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Oklahoma's undefeated.
And Tennessee's got, I think, Arkansas.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 pretty good games. I'm
sorry.
I
thought my dog.
I tell you what's going to be fun, too, is I don't think the SEC is doing much on Thursday night for the men. I know the women played then, I believe. But, man alive, those Tuesday, Wednesday SEC games, how sweet is that going to be during the week?
Oh, and Pat, I know you're going to love it as well. January and February, like he just said, there's nothing more fun.
And I'll be on TV.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll do your twice a week, or what's your schedule with Network?
Twice a week, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
man, that's tremendous. Hey, Pat, are you going to be doing any analysis as far as during games, or will you be mostly in the studio this year?
In the studio, that's it.
Okay.
JU, I'm doing their games here. So
am I correct? What to piggyback on Brent's statement a moment ago? Am I correct? It looks like the majority of the midweek games are Tuesday. There'll be some on Wednesday, but is Tuesday the big SEC midweek day, or they kind of?
It must be, because maybe they want everybody to play on Saturdays for the most part.
Yes.
So, I guess they probably rotate on who's gonna have the shorter break. Probably every week, probably alternate. I don't know how they figure out the scheduling, all this logistics and stuff, but man, really smart.
Yeah, it is kind of strange that Florida and Kentucky only play once. You know, they have historically always played. They've historically always played twice, home and home, and the final game has historically been in either Gainesville or Kentucky. It just has always fallen that way.
Yeah,
and that's different. Florida only plays Alabama once. They only play Auburn once. And I think those are both road games as well. They do have a home and home with Tennessee. And Brent, you realize if Tennessee wins tomorrow and Florida wins tomorrow, Tennessee will come in as the number 1 team in the nation Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tennessee's in Gainesville Tuesday.
Yeah, that's amazing. And listen, you would remember this. Pat's too young, but at the SEC back in the 70s, they played on Saturday, and then believe it or not, they played again on Monday.
Yes, I remember
Monday night. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
wow.
Crazy.
Can you imagine having a 1-day turnaround? Basically, that's what they used to do.
That's way too tight, especially
Really
if you had travel. Yeah, with travel being in there.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You know, and Britt, well, I know you need to go. The Tennessee, number 1 team in the nation. I think I've got this right. They also have had an early season injury. They lost one of their big guys, I think, for the rest of the year. And they're
Really?
I think they lost a big guy, and they're still number 1. It's a meat grinder. I'm going to use that all year. It's a meat grinder in that conference.
And hey, Pat, if A&M shoots better, I love Buzz. I think that team's we'll break it down more later.
They're very dangerous.
And Terry knows that is a tough, physical, in your face team.
And he will. Hey, Patrick, Buzz will. The head coach at A&M, Buzz Williams, he'll grind out a game on your ass in a heartbeat. He will grind out a game. That's their style, man. And they play tough. They think they're tougher than anybody in the country.
They do.
And they'll take you out in the back and whoop your butt. They will. All right, Brent, good stuff. I appreciate you jumping on. I know you got some other commitments. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk about all the weekend happenings next week. Maybe talk about a new Jaguar coach and or general manager. I don't want to get guys fired, but I think he's got to pull the trigger. Thank you, Brent.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult Monday for some coaches, but look, they will take a lot of money with them when they go.
They will. That they will. Let's get out of here. We got a half an hour left. Take a final break. Thanks to Brent Beard for jumping on as he does just about every Friday as we're live from BRIX, Jack's Beach. Patrick Young, Terry Norvelle. We'll start landing the plane. We'll get Zach Rothrock in here as well and wrap up the week that is. Sports, preview the weekend, and we'll go from there on the other side. The Young and Norvelle Show continues after this break from BRIX, Jack's Beach.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. BRIX Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at BRIX Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at BRIX Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
All right, back we are. Terry Norvelle, Patrick Young. We're starting to put the landing gear down on this Friday edition live from BRIX, Jax Beach. I want to thank Jason Reynolds, the entire staff. They roll out the red carpet every time I come here, and we have a good time. It's a fun, festive place. You always want to have your Friday show at a fun, kind of hopping place, Pat, you know? It's Friday, man.
Is it getting pretty packed? It usually starts picking up right around.
Right now, there are plenty of times where we wrap up at 6 o'clock here on Friday at BRIX, and you've got, big crowds coming in, happy hours going on, the dinner crowds coming in. And there's times, Pat, you've been here, we can get pinned back here. It's hard to get out of here. We're in the back by the.
Got to be quick.
Yeah, we got to move.
Got to be quick.
Don't want to bump into people, but we enjoy our stays here at BRIX. Pat, let's kind of wrap up this final half hour, and Zach, we can get you involved as well from the studio. Some NFL talk. What could have been? What if the Jaguars were having a really good year and they wrap up at the Colts? What if the Colts and Jaguars, what if they were playing a game like, Minnesota and Detroit are playing for the division, I believe, right? I think
right.
They're a huge game with playoff implications and seeding implications. This could have been Jacksonville big season, Indy big season, with ex-Gator quarterback Anthony Richardson if he was healthy. But this is just I
mean, look, I'm not a Colts guy at all, so I don't really. But my ears to the ground to the sense because Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
it seems like it's not going well there with how
terrible
they see him. Maybe these are just grumblings, but
he's got probably 6 or 8 games to start next year to put up or shut up. Probably, wouldn't you think? I mean,
what a short leash.
He's played enough now, and what do we say? He's
so hurt all the time, man. You can't. His best ability is not availability. That's for sure.
I mean, when you're hurt all the time, if you're completing 73% of your passes, and your touchdown to interception ratio is crazy for the good, none of that's true. He's hurt all the time. What we say, he's got a 48% completion for the season. He's thrown, 7 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Yeah, I think he's got first half of the season left next year before they might say, hey, man, we got to revisit quarterback in a draft. Isn't that something?
Isn't that something,
man?
Do you think a guy like that, if he gets another shot, doesn't do well, does he try to switch positions and stay in the NFL?
I don't know. I don't know.
He is a great athlete. We can't take away from that.
Can he catch? I don't know. I've never seen him try to catch a football. Can he catch? Does he have a blocking frame? You know, when people say just switch positions, you're also talking about the National Football League, the highest level of football. You know, it's just not that easy.
Right.
I mean, I don't think he's got the temperament, body, or mentality to play anything defense. I don't think it'd be a safety or anything.
No.
With that said, on offense, if he's not a quarterback, he's not a running back. Tight end's about the only thing. Can he catch? Can he block? Can he put on some weight? I don't know, man. It's hard to do, man. It's hard to just.
I think a big part of it for him has been maturity, and maybe just not understanding the weight. It's completely different when you're in college to when you're NFL. You know, you got to be the you don't got to be perfect.
Now he's won.
Your temperament and your actions and the way that you speak, and you got to be the leader, man. Quarterbacks, like, they got to be the leaders. They've got to.
And before we woes me, Anthony Richardson, he's won. I mean, he's beat the system. He showed off his athleticism so much. He got to play major Division I college football, and he made a lot of money.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money on that contract. So he's won no matter what happens, right?
Good point. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
He's won. Zach, I'm not sure if you have got a real handle on the playoff situation in the NFL. Patrick, I think there's only one spot available in both conferences, right? Isn't that how it's going right now? I think there's one spot available. The AFC, if Denver beats Kansas City, and they could, right, because Mahomes is out.
They're basically throwing. They're not even going to play Carson Wentz. They're playing their third guy.
So if Denver wins, they're in. They get the final AFC. If Denver loses, that brings Miami and Cincinnati into play.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit on that. On the NFC side, there's one spot left, and I think I've got this right, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. The one spot available in the NFC, the Bucks play the Falcons for the division.
Yeah.
And that would be the number 4 seed. The loser, I think, doesn't win the division, and they don't make the playoffs. It's a win or get in or get out in that game, because the other 7 are set.
They have no shot at a wild card with their record.
Yeah, so that's interesting. The Bucks play the Falcons. The winner wins the division. The loser doesn't get a wild card. They're done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and the winner gets to host a 14-win team in either the Lions or the Vikings. So, congratulations for winning the South.
And am I correct? The big game of the weekend is Minnesota-Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because winner is either the 1
the
seed or the 5 seed.
Your boys gonna get it done, Zach.
Oh my God, they are reeling.
But they're in.
It's tough. Yeah, they're in. They could be heading into the. They'll either be heading into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak and heading to Baltimore, or they get to snap their 3-game skid and will likely go to Houston. I'm going to go ahead and assume the Ravens beat the Browns and win the division.
Yeah,
as they are 20-point favorites.
Now, as kind of cut and dry as I said, there's one spot left in the AFC, and there's one spot left in the NFC. That sounds pretty cut and dry, but I do know this. I think it's the AFC side, depending on how these games fall out Sunday and Saturday. There's a bunch of potential seeding movement. We know the teams that are in, but everybody's not absolutely locked into their 2 seed, 3 seed, 4. There could be a lot, I think, of the AFC seeding movement.
Yeah, they both have a lot of that. The AFC is definitely the crazier side. I think the Bengals are going to somehow get in. They've been the hottest team for the past month. And they're going against the Steelers, who have been the coldest team for the past month.
But doesn't Denver have to lose for that to happen?
Yeah, Carson Wentz will be the starter. I thought that the Chiefs were going to play their 3rd-string guy, but they are going to go with Carson Wentz. I just feel like Joe Burrow is somehow going to be in the. If the Bengals make the playoffs, he deserves to be the MVP easily. And bless you, Patrick.
Yeah.
And I think that somehow or another he's going to find his way there. The Steelers can't do anything on offense. They can't. The Bengals are going to score 30 points in that game. That's just.
Okay, guys, stay with me here. And this these seeds could change greatly, but if the season ended right now, here's what we would have. There's 7 teams that make the playoffs in both conferences.
Right.
Total of 14. Okay, AFC, right now as we sit, number 1 seed, Kansas City. Number 2, Buffalo. The Ravens are 3rd. The Texans are 4th, because remember now, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are your division winners.
Yeah.
The Steelers are sitting in the 5 spot right now.
Yeah.
The Chargers are in the 6th spot, and the 7th spot is up for grabs. Denver, Miami, Cincinnati. Denver's got the easiest path.
Right.
Now, those would be your 7. The seeding could change a bunch. Okay, there's only 1 spot available. Now, in the NFC, right now as we sit here, number 1 seed, the Vikings. 2, the Eagles. 3, the Rams. 4, we don't know. Either the Bucks or the Falcons. Somebody's going to win that game and win that division and win the 4 seed.
I imagine Tampa.
Right now, Detroit's 5, but if Detroit was to beat Minnesota, would they flop?
Yes, yeah, that is 4. So the Detroit game against San Francisco didn't matter at all, but this one is the one that matters. It's the difference between the 2 seed and the 5. Oh, yeah.
Washington is 6, and the Packers are 7. So, in a weird way, you would think, guys, that the 7th and final playoff spot, if there's only 1 left, it would be that 7th spot, like Denver's trying to win. In the NFC, the 4 seed is up for grabs. There's 1 spot, and it's the 4 seed.
Yeah.
It's the division. How about
that?
that?
It's the South. Yeah. And I mean, this happens every year, and obviously, I don't think they want to reseed it, but in theory, you would think that the reason why they have where they want to reward the division winner is because if a team has more losses in their division, it's because their division is tougher. That's the argument. That's the theory. But it seems like it works out more often than not, where there's just obviously just way lesser division with the NFC South going against a stacked division in the North. They got 3 legitimate playoff teams. They need to look into reseeding this because it happens every single year.
And Patrick,
every single year.
Yeah.
You're right, Zach.
Pat, I want to throw this out again. Kind of what he just said, what Zach just said about, are we putting winning a division too far, giving it too much credence? Because look how monumental, Patrick and Zach, Detroit and Minnesota are playing. That's the big game. Those 2 teams have ridiculous records, both of them, right? I mean, you're talking.
It's the first time ever in the history of the NFL that the 2 teams' combined win total is 28.
Okay, so these 2 teams have had great seasons, Detroit and Minnesota. They've got great records. But do you realize the monumental movement this one game will have? And I don't know if it's fair to the loser. The winner of Detroit, Minnesota. Right now, Minnesota is the 1. Detroit's the 5. If Detroit wins, they jump to the 1 because they would win the division. Minnesota would fall to the 5 and have to play a game right out of the gate.
On the road. Yeah.
How big is that game?
And and both of those teams are dome teams. Playing on the road outside as a dome team is a huge disadvantage. That could derail their whole season easily.
Yeah. Woo! Man, there's a lot on the line for that game.
What's happening with Sam Darnold if he goes to NFC Championship game?
I think most likely scenario for him, based on what I've heard and read, appears to be franchise tag. I think that's going to be the
smart
franchise tag. Play it out, see what happens with McCarthy.
It would have. I think Darnold's right around 30.
I think he's 28.
Yeah, right around 30. So my point is, it would have been easier for Minnesota to make a decision if this magical year that Darnold's having, if he was Joe Flacco age, and you go, well, but you know what? We got all we could get out of him. He is 38, this Darnold guy. We're going to ride him, and then we're going to move on. But, man, he's 28 years old. Patrick, you don't get rid of the guy if he takes you to deep in the playoffs. Dude.
Right. Sure don't. That's crazy.
And Minnesota's been searching for a quarterback, right?
Right. Absolutely. I think they got their guy. Oh my God. I wonder how hard it is for JJ McCarthy to see if it's hard for him at all, or wonder what he's feeling.
God almighty.
Definitely disappointment, but also at the same time, he's got to be licking his chops to get into the system. I mean, they got an elite defense. They got the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, they got everything you need to play quarterback.
Yeah,
he got sparred from just. I mean, I don't think he was good enough to be a rookie quarterback that starts right away in the NFL.
He did have a good preseason.
I'm on record for and he had a good preseason. I'm on the record. I don't think he can throw good enough in the NFL. I'm on record. I may be wrong. He may prove me wrong, but I didn't love him.
The Jags had a good preseason too.
That's true.
I didn't love him. All right, guys, we only have a little bit left of the show. Black Monday's coming up. I don't think the game Sunday has any bearing on Shad Khan's decision. Would you guys agree? The game has no. I don't think if the Jaguars won 100-0, or if they lost 100-0, I don't think the game on the field in Indy. Shad Khan, would you guys agree, has made up his mind what, if anything, he's going to do? You guys?
I agree.
Right,
I still want the Jags to win the game.
What do you think happens? And we will Black Monday will, by the time we go on the air Monday, a lot of stuff would have happened probably, including most likely. Don't you think the news will come out before 4:00 on Monday?
Oh yeah.
With that said, Zach Rothrock, 10 minutes to the top of the hour, Friday, heading into Black Monday. Will Doug Peterson be the head football coach next Tuesday in Jacksonville? Will Trent Baalke be the general manager next Tuesday in Jacksonville? Or will there be some type of change, both or one? What say you, Zachary Rothrock?
I think Doug Peterson will remain as the head coach. I think Trent Baalke will be out. I think Press Taylor will be out.
Woo! Woo!
Now that's kind of been what I've been feeling for the past 2 or 3 months. I kind of maintain that.
In that scenario, does Peterson have a lot of say in who comes in as the general manager, or does Shad Khan say, "Hey, my man, I'll handle this"?
I would imagine he does, because if you keep him, you want him to be. You want him to have a voice and have a say.
Yeah.
I think the logic behind keeping Doug Peterson would be to have some level of consistency for Trevor Lawrence, just so he doesn't have to do a complete reset again. Now, that's what you don't want.
Yeah. Patrick Young, I throw the same scenario your way. Tuesday, will Doug Peterson be the head coach? Will
Do you think all out?
What are your thoughts?
Oh man, I know Doug is a fantastic dude. I need somebody with some passion on the sideline, man.
And see, so if it was me making the decision, I would agree with Patrick, and I would also get rid of Doug Peterson. I just think that's what the Jaguars will do.
You're predicting the future.
So Patrick,
yeah.
Let's back up, guys. You can do that as well. Zach, you said what you thought was going to happen. What would Zach do if Shad Khan called you right now and said, "Give me your what would you do, Zach? I need your advice."
I would like to, before I make any decisions, I would like to contact Ben Johnson, and I would try to throw the kitchen sink at him and do everything I can to make him get in our building and start coaching our offense and being our guy. I would want to have that move in place before I began firing people, just to see if I can get, because he would be the optimal guy that I would put on the pedestal that I would want above anyone else.
Yeah.
And so I would want to try to potentially have that guy in place before I started firing everyone. But yeah, even if I couldn't get him, I think I would just hard reset anyway. I think there's a lot of guys out there that you could potentially look at. I don't hate the idea. I know they talked about this on the show earlier today. I don't hate the idea of having Byron Leftwich. I think that he was a really good, he was on the Steelers coaching staff, and I really liked him. I thought that he was going to be a guy they were going to look at before they hired Doug Peterson. I don't know about head coach, but I'd like to see him on the offensive coaching staff.
Yeah. Well, the word is the next move for Leftwich will be a head coach, though, I think.
Really?
Patrick,
well,
I would like that too. I would like that too.
Coach this year, right?
I didn't think so.
I don't think he coached this year.
I don't think
you
so.
said what you think's going to happen. What would you do if Shad called you?
Man. Yeah, I think they both got to get up out of here, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Khan's going to fire them both, and I would fire them both. And I also think that this will be Khan's final go-around before, if he misses, and he's missed every hire so far, coach and general manager, if you ask me, he's missed every football major hire he's had. He's had 4 on one side and 3, I think, on the other. I think if he bombs, if 2 years from now he does make moves and 2 years from now he bombed again, I think Jacksonville is well within their rights, the Jaguar Nation, of kind of really making it be known, Shad, we want you to cash out. Find somebody else to come in here and buy this cash out. You can't get the job done. I think that'd be well within their range. Anyway, we're inside a minute, guys. That'll wrap it up. Pat, good job today, my friend. Keep an eye on that dog.
He's tucked away.
Yeah, keep an eye on that dog. Dogs are great. Dogs are great people, if you know what I mean.
They are great.
Dogs are great people. I love that statement. Zach, good job. Would also thank Brent Beard for his contributions. A lot of college football talk. Enjoy the weekend. You got NFL 2 games tomorrow, then a bunch on Sunday, of course, and the big Florida basketball game. One of our main topics Monday will be Florida, Kentucky. What happens in Corrupt Arena? Some people call it Rupp Arena in Lexington. Gators trying to stay undefeated as they start a rugged SEC conference schedule. You can say that about everybody. That'll wrap it up. For Patrick Young, I'm Terry Norvelle. Have a great rest of your Friday. Be safe. We'll talk on Monday, the next edition of the Young and Norvelle Show.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. BRIX Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at BRIX Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at BRIX Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.